What's up, everybody? This is episode 126. Yeah, 126. Dave Levinson on. William Filipek on. Very excited for tonight. Listen, I had a lot of shit happen today. So it was a pretty good day. Okay. Pretty good fucking overall day. I just want to let some people get here. We'll see what's going on. Before we even start the show, I just want to let you know that tonight's show is sponsored by Redline. Okay, Redline Shipping, best shipping company in the business, will continue to be the best shipping company in the reptile space. I know that there's a little competition coming, and I mean, just how about a little loyalty, guys? Okay, that's all I'm saying. Okay, how about a little fucking loyalty for a guy that's done all he could to help the fucking hobby. And you guys know it too. Best live animal shipper in the fucking country right now. If you never used Redline before, use the code Robin60 and you will get 60% off your first two shipments with Redline. I know there's other people now saying they're going to give you 60% off all year. Yeah, well, you can't fucking sustain that. That can't be fucking sustained. I don't know how you people who are thinking about even going with the other company even know what it's like to run a fucking business. You can't run a business by losing $1 million a year. Okay. I think KG said it. He goes, that's why dollar stores aren't around anymore. Anyway, use the code Redline Robin60. You get 60% off your first two shipments with Robin. And then for any other shipments, just use the code Fatman5 and you'll get $5 off any additional shipments with Redline. So Redline's killing it. You're not going to beat their customer service. I don't know if you saw the video today, but it's white glove service, basically to an industry that sometimes doesn't deserve being treated with white gloves. Redline will do that. So go check them out now at redlineshipping.com. Today's show is also sponsored by my boy JT from fucking Reptile. Listen, you know it, I know it. Don't be a Reptile bitch. Reptile is the best cocoa in the fucking hobby. It's the original veteran-owned fucking cocoa chip company that's still killing it right now. And for all you cheap fucks that are willing to pay $3,000 for a ball python, but you want to save on some cut rate fucking cocoa that's $5 less or $4 less. You guys are cheap fucks. That's all I'm saying. Your snakes and animals will be happier on Reptile. Yeah, I said it. They'll be happier on fucking Reptile. All right, so today I did a little Redline commercial. It wasn't even a commercial. It was just basically my feelings on the whole Redline versus Morph Market shipping thing. Go check that out on YouTube, now or when this is over. I mean, don't do it now. Fucking stay here now. But check it out when you get a chance. Just kind of highlighting the points. And, man, it really pissed off one dude, okay? But it seems like all the other reactions were very pro Redline. So I was pretty happy about that. It's nice to see a little bit of loyalty in the community where, people are actually siding with the right fucking company or person for once and not an asshole. All right. So anyway, let's just say what's up to people in the room. Look, by the way, if you like what you see here, fucking throw a super chat through with any questions you have for Dave Levinson. I mean, this is a guy that's been around the block a few times, and we will read and ask Dave any questions that have a super chat attached to them. Also, if you like what you see here, join the Patreon because I'm having a lot of fun with that. The Patreon is a really fun way to kind of basically talk about the stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube. And the Patreon is actually free. Okay, it's free to join. The free version gets you to Discord. Any of the paid memberships, Patreon memberships, go anywhere from $5 to $50 a month, but they help. They help keep this machine moving, and we have a bunch of shows coming up that I'm pretty excited about. That are actually going to be new ways of. They're going to be new shows, at least in the reptile space. They're going to look new. They're gonna feel new. It's not gonna be the same tired old bullshit that everybody's used to seeing. So we're excited about that too. All right, who do we have in the room here? So, poof, my boy Dick, fucking Creative Coralopus. What's up, buddy? Fucking thank you for coming. You know I appreciate you. Fucking Tits McGee. I fucking love her by the name alone, and she happens to be stupid hot too. So Tits McGee is killing it. Shauna Corner, stupid hot. But nobody really knows what Shauna Corner looks like unless they're part of this program. Kane's Constrictors, what's up, Mike? Thanks for coming. I appreciate you being here. Jason Philp, what's up, brother? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Kane's Constrictor, Mike, what's up? Yeah, thank you, man. It's true about Redline. You know, I mean, bottom line is the guy is a more solid guy than the Morph Market guy. Crystal, what's up? Miss you, baby. All right. Can't wait to go back to Canada and hang out with Crystal and Gerald. Let's see here. Sean is falling behind. Man, I don't know what's going on here. Aaron Klein, batter up balls. What's up, brother? How you doing? Fucking Morph look at that. Fucking Chris F. All right. I don't know what that means, but you know, what's up? So, all right, let's see. Is that all we got here? Is that yeah? Look, there's only 20 people in the room. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is I know that nobody's here to see me and my bitching about Redline and everything else. Will's hella heat. Fucking nice to see you back, brother. I appreciate you stopping by. Nobody's here to see me. You guys are here to see William Filipek from TJW Royals or Exotics. Sorry, Will. All right. So we're gonna just get to that right now. Oh, listen, use Clutch, okay? Fucking the best husbandry software management software out there. You know, if it comes from Justin, it's just gonna fucking work, right? And they're adding new features all the time. They don't really send me those new features. I don't know why. I actually do know why, because I don't use Clutch and I'm not a member. But I know that if it's from Justin, it's just fucking awesome. I have no need for Clutch because I have one skink right now. That's what happens when you are a failed ball python breeder. So anyway, I don't care about being a failed ball python breeder because the successful ball python breeders sponsor me. Anyway, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
What's up, guys? It's Justin at Canova. For the past 5 years, 15 Minutes of Lame has become a launch pad for so many new successful breeders and a badge of honor in this industry. It's been so amazing to watch the passion and dedication you guys have and to watch your businesses grow. Just remember, the next me might be you.
15 Minutes of Lame!
Look who we have here. Bill Filipek. Fucking what's up, William?
Not much, you?
Fucking look at this. As soon as you come online, he comes on. All right. How fucking great is that?
Oh man.
What's going on, Will? What's shaking out there in Missouri?
Oh, nothing much. Just quiet. That's about it.
That's the best part of it though, right?
Right. Yep,
It's
exactly.
like fucking the quiet is what you know, like I'm never less than 10 feet from a person here. You know, whether it's
right.
upstairs or next door or whatever. It's fucking it's actually pretty pathetic. Okay. Used to live in Colorado, miss Colorado a whole lot. Now, you're Missouri TJW Exotics. You know basically how this works. We're gonna put 15 minutes on the clock. We're gonna let you pimp your shit, and that's gonna start now. Boom. Well, no, wait, hold on. Sorry. There you go. Okay, all right. Been doing this 8 fucking years. I can't figure this shit out yet. TJW, where did that come from?
Well, the business kind of incorporates kind of the family. So my parents, because I got into this probably 15 years ago, I was still in high school, and my parents saw I had an interest in this, and they kind of supported it, and they've kind of, gotten into it because of me. So it was called TJW because my mom's Teresa, my dad's John, and then William, and then Exotics because my mother used to work with a lot of small mammals like sugar gliders, hedgehogs, a bunch of mammals. So, and then me with the snakes, and my dad primarily works with the rodents and stuff. So it's a team effort, that's for sure. Because the rats alone would just be ridiculous to do.
So it's a family, it's a family business then.
Yeah, family business for sure.
And you do your own rats. That's the
Oh,
worst part. Yeah, I mean that's.
I hate it. It's horrible.
So fucking gross, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, but do you also sell rats outside of your collection?
Yeah, a little bit. We've been doing it more now than we have,
right.
But oh my God, you have to do it, guys. Last year I had such a horrible year because when we were getting the building built, we had to move everything from the previous rodent shed to a smaller shed with no air conditioning. And we had one of the hottest summers we had in years, and it ended up killing half the collection that was our rodent collection that was already cut in half. So we had horrible breeding with rodents and snakes because of the rodents, and nobody was able to supply us with anything. So it definitely was a need for sure.
Yeah, it's well, do me a favor, move to the right a little bit more because I'm finding it distracting that the fucking timeline is right over your name. Other way.
Other way, sorry.
Move that. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
All right. And that was, telling your sad rodent story. I didn't want to I didn't want it to take away from that.
Oh no, it's all good.
How long have you been doing this?
About 15 years, 14, 15 years.
Okay, so
started with geckos and then worked the snakes essentially.
So since you were 15 or 16, you were doing this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus Christ. Okay. And it's been a family thing the whole time? Have your parents just been like, did they outgrow it like kids normally do? When people I'm starting a business with my kids, and the kids are like, fuck this shit,
Oh no, they still do the rodents. My mom doesn't do the mammals anymore. They're older. My dad's almost 70, and my mom, she's mid 60s, so they just do what they can. My dad seems to enjoy the rodents. He doesn't actually mind them, but I help him he got surgery done on his arm, so I've been having to help him more with him. So that sucks. Rat shit is so much heavier than snake shit.
Oh yeah.
The bags and everything.
Well, it's funny too when like your dad hits a certain age, right? You're just like, I'm pretty much in charge of this family right now, because you're just like, dude, you forgot to shut the car door when we went to the store, and it was open for 5 hours, dude. Right?
Oh,
so
God.
You're not in charge of the family anymore.
Oh man.
But so this is full time for you?
Nope. Believe it or not, it's not full time. Yeah.
What do you do for a day gig?
I work sandpaper. I work in a sandpaper company, making belts and all that, like a warehouse. So nothing fancy, but it was able to get me started with this, gave me a stable job to be able to afford this and grow this addiction to where it is today.
Right. And your job probably has benefits that the snake probably does not pay for, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
No, I get it. What are some projects that you're working on? Because you've been around for 15 years. So you've seen all the shit come and go, right?
Oh, yeah. So are we just talking ball pythons? Because I work with a lot of stuff, man. I don't just work with ball pythons.
I would prefer if we didn't talk about ball pythons at all. Well, let's talk about some of the other shit. Yeah.
So I work with probably 35 different species of python, 36, somewhere in there. And then I work with maybe 2 boa species. And so I started with the ball pythons and carpet pythons were 2 of my first species I worked with, and those are some of the first species I start breeding. And back then there wasn't a whole lot of carpet morphs, or at least that weren't readily available, so I wasn't picking up too many crazy carpet mutations or anything like that. So I kind of had the generic mutt carpets.
Right.
And ball pythons, though, obviously they were 15 years ago, they were still a hot thing. So there was a bunch of different morphs and stuff. I was picking up, I think earlier on I picked up Puzzle. Puzzle was one of the first ones I picked up from Sean. And then Tri-Stripe was shortly after that. And then probably Pied around that mixture. Those are my 3 primary ball python projects, because I just couldn't do, with as many species as I work with, I just couldn't work with everything. So you had to pick 3 ball python morphs you like, or 2 to 3, and then that's all I could do. I'm finding out with these double recessive projects, it's just, you have to keep back so much stuff, and you only have so much space to keep back for a lot of those projects. So I've had to wean out some of those as well.
Well, that's what I think people are forgetting. Like it's almost impossible to hit a double, right?
Oh, it's
like
ridiculous.
Hitting a triple is like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, Ralph Davis.
yeah, right. Seriously, but Ralph Davis would hold back everything. The first time I went to Ralph Davis's house, he had like 70 freedom breeders in his fucking basement, right? And I was just like, do you make freedom breeders here? Like, what do you do here, right? And basically he was just using the freedom breeders as drawers to fucking store like his fishing stuff. And he was like, I'm gonna need them eventually, right?
Oh yeah. I used to work with Ben Rennick years ago, and Ben Rennick did the same thing with the Sunset. He was keeping back possets. He was breeding that 100% het male to all these virgin females and keeping back every single female. I mean, he probably had 100 of them or something. Right. I mean, it was a ridiculous amount, and probably proved out more than I would have anticipated. He ended up proving out with some of them, but so I've seen that for sure, where people just keep back everything.
Yeah, that's
I just insane. I just can't do
it. Yeah. Well, how big is your place?
The building's 2,000 square feet, and then there's 500 square feet of rodents.
Okay.
So it's a decent size, about a decent size house, So, and it's broken up into 4 rooms. You got the ball python room, the miscellaneous python room, and then the room I'm in right now that isn't done yet. This will be the big constrictor room, where anything over 8 feet will probably end up going.
Gotcha. Okay. And do you do shows? Like, did you just do Tinley?
Oh no, I haven't done Tinley. I primarily do a lot of smaller shows. Like I'll do the NRBC St. Louis, because that's like a backyard show for me. So that end up doing that. I haven't done shows in a while though. It's been a minute. I used to do a lot of Mickey shows, a lot of who was some of the other guys? Mickey, pet expos, stuff like that.
Well, and with so many species, like, do you have like did you ever establish like a limit that a show had to make for you to be worth it?
A limit as far as how many species, or that they would let me in?
Like how far you're gonna go, what type of show it is, like like a lot of these local shows aren't no Tinley.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't. A lot of shows I would. A lot of the further shows I would vend with Dave. Dave would kind of pay for the expense. I would bring maybe a handful of animals, but essentially just a network. So I wouldn't help him sell his stuff, obviously. So I was able to do like Pomona before, a few Texas shows. I've done Tinley with Dave a few times, but nothing on my own when it comes to those big shows, other than the NRBC St. Louis or something. like that.
Right.
But
how many times did you sleep in the same bed as Dave or the same car as Dave?
It's been a lot. It's been a lot. You know, that's what I tell the women too. I go, I've been in bed with more guys than I have women.
Yeah, that's
true.
worrisome. That's worrisome, man.
Hey,
Right?
it is what it is.
All right. Well, let's talk a few sponsors here now. Do you use Reptile?
I do not.
Oh, you know what that means, right?
Yep.
Fucking JT gives you a big old fucking FU, man. Okay.
Oh man.
Well, have you ever been to a herp show?
No, I haven't been. I was trying to hit him up for some, but he hasn't. I don't know. Is he the one you have to email? There's so many. I've been trying to hit up a few shows, and you got to email him. I can't remember if it was him, Reptilian Nation. I've been hitting up a bunch of people about their shows because we're looking to do more of them now that we're established in the building and can start doing more.
All right. You're talking a bunch of shit right now. You're
Yeah,
talking nonsense.
I'm sorry.
But Sean and Lori give you a fuck you, okay?
Yep.
Now, obviously, you've had to buy a snake from Justin, right?
Yep. I've been buying snakes from Justin.
Justin does not give you a fuck you, okay? But, and I know the answer to this already, do you use clutch?
Doesn't even make sense for me to use it. Half my collection's ball pythons, and the other half wouldn't even be allowed on there.
Right.
He needs to pick it up, man. Put more species on that thing.
Yeah, I'm look. I'm not saying you're right, but I'm not saying I disagree with you. Okay?
Just talk to him. I know you got the connects.
I do. Fucking. Have you ever bought? Yeah. So basically, your little smiley face, thumbs up guy got negated by not using clutch, but it's okay.
Unfortunately.
All right. I saw your logo. It doesn't look like it was done by Stewart Design.
Oh, dude, Stewart's gonna kick you in the dick. Yeah, he did.
Did he really?
Yeah, I can send you the emails. Oh, dude, you're getting it. Oh, I'm emailing him right after that.
Oh man.
Oh, you're getting it.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. He's not renewing next year anyway. All right.
Oh, God. Oh,
do you have some sea serpents racks in your fucking?
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking.
Yep, I got a handful
let's
of
give
them.
you two fucking happy faces because definitely Blake Stewart did your thing, so fucking that's awesome.
Oh,
and you have
God.
sea serpent stuff. Obviously, you ship with Redline, right?
I do not.
Dude, what the fuck is this all about?
I know. I like his slogan too. Everything's better in red. I can't disagree with that. So and he's such a nice guy too. I remember him from the Pro Exotic days, and I don't know. He's done a lot of cool projects over the decades. So
I was gonna say, what do you still use the football player?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's all right. There's no hate. No hate. Okay, it's all good. But Robin does give you a fuck you. All right.
Yep.
Do you use Charlie for shed testing?
I do not.
Dude, what the fuck?
Oh, right? I know. I'm letting you down.
Yeah. You've been listening to the show.
Yeah,
for
I know.
8 years. Okay.
I'm just lazy with the sheds, man. I've only ever used RGI once. I'm horrible about it. It's just instinct to grab the shed and throw it away. It's not even instinct
really
to put it, save it.
Oh.
So I will use them eventually. I mean, at some point I'll definitely use them. It's just a matter of me saving the sheds and not instinctively throwing them away.
Right. Yeah. I remember how, like you just do it without even thinking.
Yeah, just grab it. Don't even think about saving it. Such a pain in the
Charlie
ass.
does give you a fuck you though.
Yeah.
All right. Fucking goddamn you. All right. At least you should know to lie to me. Well, where do you see TJW in 5 years?
I don't. Hopefully. Oh man. Hopefully doing kind of more of the Dave and Tracy route. You know how Dave and Tracy they're a part of the hobby, but they worked with academics, zoos. Right. They did a lot of that stuff. I'd be more interested in working with stuff like that to maybe help more, blend the reptile community more into conservation rather than us looking like a bunch of crazy snake people or reptile people that, walk snakes on leashes or let our snakes go and stuff like that. I'd like to see the community maybe look beyond just a snake in a box. I don't know. I have a lot of big goals for TJW, but like I said,
you're out. It doesn't matter.
Yep, done.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't. Your hopes and dreams don't matter on this show.
They got crushed.
Okay, all right. They get crushed on this show. All right.
Yep.
But Will, how could people get in touch with you?
TJW on Instagram, Facebook, Morph Market. I have a website too. You hit
Old
me
school.
up on all of them.
Yep. Going old school. Fucking less and less a need for a certain large reptile online seller these days. Yes, sir. Okay.
Right.
William, thank you so much for fucking popping by. I appreciate you. And everybody go follow TJW Exotics Instagram. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Nope.
I know you don't have TikTok, right?
Nope. I can't put this ugly mug on social media like that, man.
Dude, you're actually a good-looking guy. I'm pretty sure all the women in the room are actually going downtown a little bit now on themselves, just looking at you. Okay, I'm just saying. Right? Are you married?
Make me blush. No.
He's available, everybody.
Oh Jesus!
Right?
Don't do this to me.
Will, thank you so much, man. I'm gonna throw you out now.
You.
Fucking, I'll talk to you later. Everybody, go follow TJW Exotics on Instagram. All right. Boom. Fucking man, what a cool fucking dude, huh? I mean, fucking, that dude is just like a smooth dude. I fucking like him. I never talked to him at all. I heard stories about him from I believe Sean, believe it or not. And Sean always said he was a cool guy. Nice to see that Sean was correct for once. Listen, you know what the best independent run fucking reptile show in the country is? It's fucking Herps. Okay, Sean and Lori Gray. Even though fucking William never been to a goddamn herb show before. But gonna be honest with you, once he goes to one, it's like eating potato chips, right? You can't stop with just one. Let's see. Herps is gonna be in the Jew capital of Texas, in Rosenberg, Texas, on November 2nd and 3rd. They're gonna be in Sulphur, Louisiana, on November 9th and 10th. They're gonna stay in Louisiana. Well, actually, yeah, they are. They're going to stay in Louisiana. They're going to be in West Monroe, Louisiana on November 16th and 17th. Then they're heading back to Denison, Texas on November 23rd and 24th. I believe my girl, Corey Morton, goes to that one. And she definitely goes to this one. They're going to be in Austin, Texas on December 7th and 8th. They're going to be back in Slidell, Louisiana on December 14th and 15th. Going to be up in Oklahoma on January 11th and 12th. That's the first show of the new year. Then they're going to be in Longview on January 18th and 19th of 2025. So go check out Herps right now. Basically, they're the best run show circuit in the country, or at least independent run show circuit in the country. They put on great shows. Fucking check them out at herpshow.net. Now, this guy fucking rocks my world, man. Okay. Charlie's giant supporter of everybody in the fucking hobby. He's killing it. He's disrupting shed testing. He's getting people their shed results back in a week and a half, 2 weeks. He's doing some great stuff. Big supporter of mine. He did a Patreon only contest last month where he gave away 5 or 6 free shed tests. He gave a ton to the Jeremy Baud auction that happened last Sunday night on the Holdback Rack channel. So this is a good guy, okay? This is not a nameless, faceless company, okay? This is a guy that does shit from his house. But from what I hear, you may be moving on up in the world. Charlie has genetic tests available for Desert Ghost, VPI Xanthic, Wookie, Hypo, Mojave, Phantom and Mystic, Yellow Belly, Spider, Champagne, Gravel, Russo. I don't even know why people would want a Russo shed test, but he got them. Special, Lavender Albino, Bongo, Clown, Sunset, Puzzle, Cryptic, Spot Nose, Candy, Lesser, Piebald, Asphalt, Genetic Stripe, Chocolate, Hurricane, Albino, Bamboo, Ultramel A and B, and Spark. And I also believe it was announced last week that Charlie has the zebra test now. So I mean, look at this guy just fucking killing it, and he'll get you your results back in under 2 weeks. He's just a good guy. Okay, just a fucking good overall guy. Go visit shedtesting.com and go get one of your dumb ball pythons shed tested today over at Gray Rider. Again, that's shedtesting.com. All right. So listen. All right. I'm just gonna start you right off the bat. You came in 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes.
5 fucking minutes ago. Missed the test, missed everything. Fucking
Not only did I miss everything, I thought you meant I was an hour late. Like, I just drove 70 miles an hour down a back road. I thought I was twice as late as I really was.
God damn it. I thought this was a bucket list show for you. All right. And
well,
you don't show up on time?
Oh, well, I think I'm on time, but I'm not on time. You know what? I said that the whole way. I had this whole apology for you, but you know what? Here's the thing. If MJ's out there listening right now, he understands your pain. I don't understand Eastern. I don't understand Pacific. I just got this Central time down, and I don't have it down. I don't have it down, man. We should have wrote it out of my hand. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. Fucking thank you for fucking coming on. It's been what 10 years since I met you.
A little over.
I was gonna say a little bit over. Fucking it's just like first time I met you was at Hamburg.
What is that? What?
Thank you, demonic reptiles. Fucking $20 super chat. Pow. Fucking very nice. Thank you. I appreciate it, Lenny. Lenny's in the 15 minutes of lane contest this year, which starts on November 16th. So we're going to be building up for that in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, met you at Hamburg, which was weird, right? Because fucking you weren't coming all the way out from Missouri to Hamburg, right?
No, I was in Buffalo, New York.
Well, that's still like I just drove to Canada 3 weeks ago. So that's still like a fucking 12-hour drive, right?
Yeah, but you go where the money's at. Hamburg was a good show. Had a good reputation. I did okay. But what I learned at that show, what I learned at White Plains, if you're not a familiar face, people are afraid to spend money with you.
Yeah. Well, White Plains really turned into a zoo people show really quick. You know, like the family that they couldn't afford to take their family to the zoo. So they took them to White Plains and they would like never buy shit. But at White Plains also, there were show dates in White Plains where we were making $10,000, $15,000. So it was definitely worth it. Now, I just want to bring up the point really quick. Dave is joining us tonight from the back of an abandoned bowling alley.
Well, if you know me, I've done a lot of work here. So, if you've ever followed me in the past.
Okay. That's what Will was just saying backstage. He's like, oh, he's doing the bowling alley again. You're getting old school, Dave. Right? Like fucking.
Like I said, I've always wanted to do this. There's just something about this place that really makes me happy. Like I said, I had a homeless guy come up to me. I can almost guarantee the cops are going to come by while I'm out here. Maybe we see an animal. I don't know. Gonna be good though.
So, how long have you been in the hobby?
Started buying in 2002 at the Cleveland, Ohio show, the Buffalo show, and the Columbus. And then I think by 2004, I was buying from the White Plains show, actually breeding animals, 2006, I want to say.
Okay. All right. So 2006. So I started in 1999. But it's funny how we cross paths in like a shitty city in Pennsylvania, right? Like fucking that's the one thing I like about the hobby is that you meet people from fucking everywhere. And I'm just gonna bring it up because I always bring it up. You remember that dead cat right in front of the Hamburg door, right?
I remember that.
Yeah, that they just left there all day and fucking.
Hamburg vibes, buddy. You got to get used to it.
Well, I was actually shocked at that show because that's the first time we did an out-of-state show, and they'll fucking sell you a pit viper in Hamburg with fucking air holes in the fucking deli cup, right? And I remember like children just coming up to us and being like, "Yeah, we bought this pit viper." Me and my dad, and I was just fucking shocked at that shit. But talk about how everything's changed since 2006 till now, because fucking I do it all the time, and I'm called the old guy. Okay, you've been in the hobby just as long, and you're still like the spry, fucking hip, cool, fucking guy. So talk to me about how the hobby's changed and what we had to go through in the last 20 years in this thing.
Ebb and flows. Economy's bad, we're bad. Economy's good, we're good. Personally, I look around the hobby today and I see better animals, better ball python combination, better ways of keeping. I'd say really we're starting to mature in the hobby, man, because, you talk about coming in 99. The reality is that's about the time the hobby really started booming. You had the 10 years prior where you had a few guys playing in it, but really, I thought the most money started coming in like late 90s, early 2000s. And I still see a lot of new money coming in today. I'll be honest, I'm pretty hyped on the market and pretty positive on things. I know we have a little bit of what some people are considering a low, but I keep on saying it's more like a price adjustment that we haven't all done yet. And we haven't accepted certain things are down and certain things are up.
Right. But there's certainly better, like you said, ball python combinations and more captive bred animals, right? But like I had fucking 2 blood pythons in 2002, and those shits were like you couldn't open the fucking tub without getting attacked by them. I had chondros back in 2003, which you always just knew you were going to get bit every time you fucking cleaned it, right? But overall, the animals have definitely gotten better. Tell me something that you think has gotten worse.
Oh shit, worse. Man, yeah, I'm a pretty positive guy, but worse. I don't go pulling for that kind of stuff, man. I'm in sales. I don't remember negativity ever selling me anything in life. I get maybe, you know what? How we've all truly adopted Facebook to duke it out over things that aren't anybody's business. I think that's where the hobby's got the worst.
Yes. Okay. I'll definitely give you that. But also the barrier for entry now isn't as high as it was 20 years ago, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that if somebody just wants a ball python, normal, let's just say for a pet, okay, $5, $10 at most, you could get a normal for that much at a show. When I first got my first ball python in 1998, I think I paid $200 for it, and it was just a normal piece of shit. Okay, and I also think that, like, I don't know where these young people coming into the hobby are getting $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to invest, when they're 25 years old.
Well, I feel like we all come in at a different time when it comes to the dream, man. And, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for somebody telling me about it when I was 18, it might have taken me another 5 or 10 years. The only difference is you talk about the money coming in. I'd still been poor 5 years after. But I don't know, man. I think there's just something attractive about the hobby. I think we know that Brian brought a lot of people in through snake bites. I used to watch it when I was on lunch break, like every week religiously.
Right.
Watching Chewy limbo under Amazon tree boas, which is kind of nonsensical, but still kind of funny. And now, I mean, honestly, I contribute a lot of all of our success, especially in ball pythons, to just in marketing for all of us.
Yeah.
We've always made nice snakes, but like, we never really had that guy that consistently marketed in a way. Everybody just assumed they're going to come to you, and there's a lot of good looking animals in the hobby right now that are being made. They get no attention because of the lack of marketing.
Right.
But no, I mean, like I said, those videos every week with Justin, that 6 minutes that goes into it, that benefits the entire market every single time.
Yeah, well, and Justin has still been a market mover, right, for the last maybe 10 years or so.
Yeah.
He's been the guy that you know, if he says he made it, but also, you know, Justin, you know, doesn't even put out some of the shit he's making for 2 or 3 years, right? So that's the way to do it.
I
And
mean,
with Facebook and Instagram now, everybody's just popping up the first thing they get all the time.
well, there's two different ways of doing it. Do you want to show off a product before you have anything to sell to your customers? Because if you do, you don't give them the idea before you have something to sell them. So
Right.
where, the secrets at Justin's, I mean, those well-kept secrets have made him more money, and the people who invested in him also made money because of it. So, I think there's a lot of different ways of doing it. I've got my little group of guys I'll show everything to, but publicly, I keep some stuff close to the heart until I figure out if it's going to be nice or not.
How much of your collection is ball pythons versus anything else right now?
Um, well, me personally, I got about 100 blue tongue skinks.
Mm.
Just about pretty much all northerns. I've been doing that for about 12 years. Boa constrictor wise, somewhere between probably in the 80 range, probably a little bit more, a little less. Ball pythons, I started helping with Ben stuff. And when I started helping with Ben stuff, that was like 2,500 animals.
Right.
It's changed a lot since then. We've moved things around. We're not still sitting at what we used to, but I mean, that shit went from me being like a 20 ball python owner to being part of helping with a collection that was 25.
Right.
So I've had quite the roller coaster on size of collections. I don't even know where we're at now, man. I mean, do anybody really keep a count on that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. Some of the more business oriented guys knows exactly how many they have, how much it costs to feed, you know, per ball python, and keep spreadsheets and all this other shit, you know, all the time. And those tend to normally be the people that I'm seeing that are making more money, you
Yeah,
know, doing this than the people who are kind of just flipping about the collection. Like if you run your business like a business, it's going to pay off like a business. But if you run it like a hobby, it's going to pay off like a hobby.
I
Um,
get that.
you had you were big into blue tongues 5, 8 years ago, right?
12 years ago. 12 years ago,
Well,
I started breeding them.
mm. And um, they were supposed to be the next bearded dragon, right?
There was a small time after Brian got back from seeing Joe Ball's collection in Australia that a lot of people thought, what if? But they were also saying, what if, based on mutations, we couldn't get to the United
Right,
States?
right,
I don't think it was ever going to be that thing, but honestly, Heather, Ron St. Pierre down there in Florida, Manny and David Tiki Geckos, and they're heavy in the morph game now. So we're going to start seeing stuff blasted out of Florida. And then on top of that, there's still a lot of breeders in the United States that are doing good line bred northern stuff, reds, yellows, oranges. I think that market's actually yet to take off. It had the potential back when it was getting hyped up by Brian, but there weren't any morphs to back the hype.
right. I got one animal in my house right now, and that's a blue tongue, a northern blue tongue.
Right.
And gotta say, I love that fucking thing, man. It's fucking a fucking animal that you could feed dog food to. That's not a dog, and you know the ease of taking care of it and everything. And people talk about ball pythons being machines that you can't kill. Like skinks are fucking just they'll live through anything, right? Like fucking. So there was a time where your company was actually named after skinks, right? As far as
I'm on my ninth name. I'm not
yeah,
going to try to see if I could remember the one you're thinking of. I believe I had a partnership in Buffalo when we started talking, where I think it was Bow and Chain Reptiles, and in the logo there was a boa and a blue tongue skink. Um, and then I did own bluetongueskinks.com, but Cheryl Matula uses that. I'm not really much for the computer.
right,
But no, I never really had a fully committed skink logo. Um, Honestly, I started with Dave's Got Herps. Then I went to Morph Graphics, and then a ball and chain on the side, and then like 4 other names since Ben passed away.
right.
We've changed it a few times. Never really felt comfortable, if that makes sense.
Well, also speaking of the Ben thing, like when Ben, when everything happened to him, you were like the first guy that was taking care of the collection, right? Like you were pretty much the only guy, as far as I remember, um, that just kind of took over the collection. Uh, First of all, tell me a good Ben story, and then tell me a good story about what you had to do when you had to take care of that big a collection, because Ben, I mean, Ben did a lot. I mean, Ben, I don't know, most people don't remember Ben, but that they just, know the story of Ben. But Ben was poised to be another Justin in the hobby, right? Like I totally believe that. And and I only met the guy and hung out with the guy once at a Tinley back in the 2000 teens, somewhere about there. So tell me a Ben story that people wouldn't ordinarily know about Ben.
Uh, well, last time I hung out with Ben was March of the year he passed away. We went to Nerd's place so he could pick out a black dragon. No, I think he was picking out a T negative albino from Kevin. So we rolled out there with a mutual friend, went up to Kevin's all day, played with the animals, took a few pictures of us just kind of enjoying the experience. Honestly, it was somewhere I had always wanted to go, and the opportunity to go see with Ben. I didn't really do a whole lot with Ben outside of shows and occasionally passing by his house. So that was like one of the few things we ever did that wasn't like just because we were in the right place at the right time.
Right.
Um, and so that night we went out with again our mutual friend, and I started drinking pretty heavily because my friend drinks heavily. Ben's not a drinker. At one point, I bought him a Long Island. He took a fake sip and pushed it over to me. This went on for hours, and when everything was said and done, I think I woke up in a bed next to him in a hotel, and the news was on. And I think there was like things blowing up, and I just kind of leaned over to him. I was all like, "Can you make war go away, buddy?" And like, they're just little things like that. And me and him always had like, spots we would hide from people at Tinley. I talk about it once in a while. There's that one hallway that you can't get all the way to the lower floor, so people never use it because you got to jump out on the second.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we used to hide down there by the first floor because no one ever came down there. And we had Tinleys where we'd spend like hours in that hallway just to bullshit and talk about the stuff we always talked about. So like I said, it was Ben was only a few years younger than me, and you talk about a lot of young guys coming in the hobby now, but back then it was kind of an older hobby, an older generation, a lot of the OGs. So like having a guy close to my age doing what he was doing, it was just somebody really nice to have around. And like you said, very business savvy. His entire office was books for dummies, how to market, how to manage, and he read all that stuff. And that's why he was great at it. And I say the same thing about Justin. He's a guy with management. Or no, he's a marketing guy. He went to school for marketing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
he did medical
completely
marketing for a while.
okay. And just the marketing aspect translates on him all the way down to his logo change.
Right.
So
Fuck is
that's
that?
yeah. So that's the big difference between people who succeed and don't. You really kind of go all in if that makes sense. Like you said, they pay attention to details.
Yeah. Yeah. Serenity,
Holy
thank you so much. Don't worry about being
What
late.
is that?
You're here. Okay. And when you went over to take care of the collection,
Yeah.
how much of like what shocked you about taking care of that many animals?
Um, Not to change the way the wording was of the question, but like the shocking part was obviously the shocking part.
Right. Yeah.
But so like, well, it sucked at first, and honestly, it sucked at the end. The place was about 45 minutes away from where Lindley was staying with the kids, and like for the first few months, I was spending time with them, helping out with the kids every day. It took about 3 days before we actually got to the building. Um, I don't know. The thing was, I didn't really know what happened when I got there, and you really didn't know who to trust, what was going on. So like, I became a little bit of a recluse from the hobby for a second, and a lot of people didn't even realize I was there. And then even after months, I don't even think really anybody knew unless you were a close friend. Um, I don't know, man. I'll be honest. Like, it's all not like depressing, like not worth talking about, but just like, the building was the building where it happened. So like, you get there and like right away there's damage here, damage there. So you start like
Right.
working things out in your head. That sucks. Um, it sucked being sad around the kids. So typically I just try to be sad at the building when I was working. Um, and I rearranged it a few times when I got there because it just didn't really feel right. Rearranging it made me find things that I rather would not have found. It was weird. But I talked about this recently, but like I did factory work for years, so I've always understood assembly lines. And all that collection was an assembly line that had to be created. And I just went in every day, started at one part, and just kept on working until I got my own rhythm. And I did that for a long time. Like I said, I didn't really trust anybody to be around. And honestly, I don't know if it was selfishly, but I just didn't really want people around.
Right.
And there was a lot of people that reached out for help. William, I kind of mentioned to you, he was the only guy that came out there with me. He was already helping Ben on the regular once a week with the big constrictors. So after it happened and I started doing it, somebody brought his name up, or he might have reached out to me. And I think for like the year and a half I was out there, he came out about once a week to help with the big stuff until the big stuff was gone. And then periodically would check up on me. But we talk a lot more now. But back then I just kind of, I don't know. It was a weird thing, to be honest with you. So it was a little bit of a shutdown for me, if that makes sense.
Right. And what was the switch that kind of brought you back into it?
Oh, I don't even know when I'd say that even makes sense. I don't know. I don't know what the brought back in. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know really what you mean by the brought back in. To be honest, I mean it's kind of interpret how I want. Um, I think about it all the time, and there's certain things that I leave around to make sure I look at. Um, I don't know, man. It's not what it used to be, and it's not fake happiness. It's not fake sadness, but like thing is, I handle death in a way that I don't think most people do. I do get a little depressed, but like I don't sit around sulking about it. I find small moments. I think that's the best way to handle it. The Ben thing, like you said, it was just weird. One of the jokes I made about it that, I found out he ate those 3 for $10 pizzas you get from the grocery store, like those Thin Tony's pizzas,
Right.
but it was some kind of Missouri brand. And, when I was living out there by myself, I was eating one for breakfast, one for lunch, and one for dinner. And I got fucking fat, buddy. I put on like 45 pounds and I didn't even realize it. So, like, little simple things like that you don't even realize they're happening around you until it happens. But, like I said, I love the animals. I don't think there was anybody else. There's a lot of other people that could have helped, but like, I dropped a lot of things to come out there. I was living in North Carolina and, I wouldn't change a thing. I actually quite like Missouri, but, guys like Jonathan McMillan.
Wait, Dave, you're freezing up right now. I'm gonna throw you out and then bring you right back in. Okay.
Do it up.
Okay. All right. I didn't mean to do that during the fucking Ben story, but I want everybody to understand what he's talking about. So let's try it again. Oh no, now he's gone. Oh, there he is. All right.
Okay. Shoot. What was the last thing I said? I know, right? It's forgiven. Are you frozen on me?
No, I'm not
Oh,
frozen.
shit, you're not moving, man. Okay. No, just like I said, it was different. And like I said, what I was saying was like back in North Carolina, Cheryl Matul was back there helping with the animals. We were seeing each other, and one of my neighbors, the guy who's been a hobby for a long time, you might have know his name, Jonathan McMillan. He's a North Carolina guy.
Right.
Long story short, he would come over to my house once a week and just help with my animals. Until eventually I just moved my entire life from North Carolina to Missouri and just kind of been here since, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right, Dave, do me a favor, sign out completely
Oh,
and then click the link and come back in because it's getting choppy now.
sorry, buddy. I'll get you in a second.
Just trying to kind of get into the headspace of Dave Levinson. I'm pretty much very happy that he's here and I'm getting to talk to him again. Because the last time I actually talked to Dave was prior to the bringing him back on for the show. The last time I spoke with him was at Arlington, roughly about maybe 2 years ago. So I'm glad that I definitely want to thank Mike from Herb Collectors, who kind of facilitated this. Okay, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Let's
Okay,
see. We'll see how this works.
let's see. Okay, so Mike basically, I'm choppy. Okay, I'm gonna throw myself out then. Give me 2 seconds. All right, let's try that now. Any better?
I mean, you've been good.
I don't know what the problem is. I'm hardwired in right into the computer. Okay, so is this? I'm check. Really? I'm choppy and Dave is fine. Okay,
It's never been that way before.
man. Well, okay, hold on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sign out completely. Dave, keep talking. Okay.
No, that's fine. Oh, I keep talking now. I don't know if he's jumped out, but no, like, just Ben's collection is fun because he's got a lot of mysteries. Genes pop up that shouldn't be there. He had a lot of dinker projects, and like, one thing that I haven't fully utilized are some of the fun Ben things that he had laying around, like weird genes that have these slightly tweaked to them. But that's one big thing is trying to bring some of those things back to life. Because I'll be honest, a lot of his best work outside of multi-gene combos was some of his dinkers that he pulled out of imports. And next couple of years, I have to do a lot with them. This dead air is awful. I miss him already. Think he's coming back? Come on, Chris. This is awkward time for you not to be here, buddy. Oh, okay. Oh, I know. I do this for a living. I do podcasts all the time on Friday on Trap Talk Network, but some reason dead time by myself is like the worst time in the entire world. I don't want to be here. Man, say good things for him. I hope he's not listening. Okay. Okay. I can kind of read that. It's a little small. Still my name. Oh. Okay, shit. What a odd subject for him to walk away on. Can't really start a new subject by myself. Okay, picked up a spiderhead clown. Let's see what else we got. I'm doing great. Okay, appreciate that. I'm not really doing anything. We can talk about that spider. Spider head clown. What are we gonna do with that guy? That girl.
Oh, I'm back in.
Okay.
Any better? My internet speed is fucking shit right now, and I don't fucking know why.
Bait.
Yeah, maybe I didn't pay a bill. Okay. So let's just see here. Jason Philp says he'd love to hear more about the projects that you took over from Ben. Are you still working those?
Yeah, but I worked them very moronically. I give a lot of advice in the hobby about how you really need to put a recessive into something new to give it street credit. And I probably have about 8 dinker genes that look to be something that you can replicate that Ben had picked out himself for years. And I'm just now starting to make like heck clowns with them, have puzzles with them. But one of his past employees worked with a gene called Hydra. And Ryan took that gene and he made Hydra clowns before anybody else, and they ended up being a huge hit. Bought a lot of pink in this like pastel lesser spot nose combo clown. A few of the bigger guys went out and bought Hydra because of it, but where I failed is I made bananas for 6 years with Hydras because it was in my normal ball python section because I really didn't even know what to do with it, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
There's some stuff. In the next year, I've got 6 genes that I'll be showing off Gamma, Aztec, Labyrinth, I'll rename. New Line Jungle, I got to rename. Alchemy, I said, there's some Joppa stuff still laying around. And I think I have one other gene I'm forgetting, but he had 6 to 7 proven genetic mutations when I walked in the building.
Gotcha. Okay. And now that you basically are back, you're in Missouri now, and you got your own place, right?
Yeah, we moved out of there about 4 years ago.
Okay. And right now, did you just vend at Tinley, or did you just go to Tinley?
Honestly, deliveries and hanging out. Helped out Chad Holker at his table. And a lot of times I just like to relax, man. So I set up a bunch of wholesale deals beforehand, and I had a really nice weekend.
Yeah, I remember our first Tinley. We were surprised about how much work got put into it, right? And we were exhausted. And I went downstairs about 3:34 in the morning on Saturday night, and Chad was fucking just killing it still, like in the lobby drinking. I mean, I don't know how you guys still maintain that fucking thing. I haven't talked to Chad in a while, but from what I understand, him, McNamara, you guys are still fucking maniacs at every show.
Yeah, no, that frat boy energy, buddy. We go hard every time. This past time we went a little lighter. Chad has discovered dabs. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it changes the entire vibe, is the way of putting it.
Right.
No more Red Bull vodkas. More like pillow talk now, and we're just not going as hard as we usually do.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. And you're notorious for one room or sleeping in the car, from what I hear.
Yes, I am very Jewish about managing my business. If there's a floor that's free, I'll sleep on it. Sometimes people just see me wandering around and they just kind of bring me in the room at night. Honestly, I think that's the best thing about doing podcasts on the regular. There's a lot of people that really want me to sleep on the floor of their hotel room now. So I've been doing pretty good for myself.
Right. Now, I saw an interview with you and Phil Goss one time.
Okay.
And there was a lot of disagreement on the expenditures of USARK, right? Do you still feel that way, or because I remember you talking more about them having or what they should do is hire a lobbyist and try and do a little more, with somebody who could get them into deeper pockets.
Well, I guess treating it like any other industry that's trying to get laws passed was kind of my argument. But I think if I remember, because I've done about 4 with Goss, I think what I was saying is, if they had a full-time guy to just raise money, and I think what I brought up in that conversation was, we should have a representative that goes to Petco. That Petco should be writing a contract or not a contract, but a check to USARK for, I don't know, maybe a couple $100,000 a year. I've heard some of those contracts with Petco or PetSmart are 8 figures.
Right.
If you're doing that kind of business and you're making that much money off the hobby, in my opinion, you should contribute. They're probably making more money off the hobby than most people in the hobby. So I guess my argument was, he can only do so much. If we generally had a salesman on the ground that went to certain outlets that we haven't even considered going and trying to get those regular checks in, I don't think that hurts us. I made a comment a little bit about how you pay that. One of my dad's ex-wives worked for the Boys and Girls Club, and she had to raise, I want to say, $4.4 million a quarter or a year for this Sarasota one. And she made a percentage off of our commission on what she brought in, which maybe some people in the industry might frown upon, but if it meant that much more money, I think there could be somebody worth paying to get that money in.
Right.
I don't necessarily find holes in USARK, but I watch a lot of politics stuff just because I can't help myself. And, there's certain things that we do that just aren't the norm. And not completely, but if we had a guy that can get out there on the ground and do $500,000 between the three big pet stores, there's his job, there's his commission, and we now have $400,000-$500,000 more for the hobby to fight.
Right.
So I just think bigger, because it's a big fight, and it's not so much it's going to catch up to us, but I mean, what's your opinion? Other than the passing of the Lacey Act and then essentially kind of unpassing it on some of its restrictions, has there really been like a catastrophic thing in the last 20 years of keeping?
I agree with you 100% there. I don't think so at all. I think that first of all, for all the ball python people, I don't think they're ever going to come for your ball pythons. Okay, I don't think that that's the case. I do think that there are limits, especially with this. For instance, with this guy that was just bit by the taipan, right? Some people shouldn't be owning things, but I think those people will eventually weed themselves out, right? But at the same time, I made a joke about it, but it was it was the community itself felt, or at least the venomous community felt a little bit fucked up towards the guy. Certain places having anti-venom, not giving it to him and things like that. I think the guy's still a person, right? You still don't want the guy to die because he did something stupid, but it turns out he's doing a lot of things stupid. So I think that there should be more regulation actually on venomous than there is right now. But other than the state to state thing, I don't think there's been any huge catastrophic things. Now you could say that that's because USARK was there, but also at the same time you have to wonder, what would happen if there was no USARK at all.
No, for sure. We wouldn't function without it. And, one big thing too that, other parts of other hobbies for animal keepers don't have the representation like we do either. And it's not like we're the only ones out there getting attacked. Bird keepers are getting laws against them left and right. And I think there's that new, is it the Pets Act that got posted a few weeks ago where they were trying to add cold-blooded animals to it? I can't remember the exact name, but USARK made a post about it. But essentially, it was something along the lines of permits. God, I should know more about this. I'm not even going to talk about this because I should know the details if I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk out my ass. But I believe it's called the Pets Act. Go look at some of the recent posts. But it's something to be nationwide. And this happened to the bird sector about a year or two ago. And essentially, it puts people coming in your place, checking all your animals. And I don't mind a little regulation to save everything, but we all know you give an inch, they take a foot. Yeah. So we got to be careful on that.
Well, and at the end of the day, I think that they're absolutely necessary. Even just for the little things, as opposed to like you don't hear like about the town in Missouri that fucking is having a bunch of laws passed against me. You hear about the bigger things, but I think that the town in Missouri still needs a little bit of representation somewhere. Yeah. To fight for the people that are actually keeping these things there. And I agree with Serenity Dragons to a point. It's like Darwinism does exist. And some people don't need to live. I agree with that. All right. Like I hate stupid people. And this guy, in my opinion, he was pretty fucking unlikable from the get-go. Right. But at the same time, you kind of like feel, I don't really know how I feel about it. Honestly, I don't care. I always say that the venomous people are going to fucking weed themselves out by not being fast enough. So fucking, this guy wasn't fast enough, so it's just what you're going to do. But what do you think now, Dave, as far as the venomous people that are YouTubing the handling of it and everything else?
Well, I think most of them go to the gym a lot more than me, and I probably shouldn't comment on it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you're gonna irresponsible trains irresponsible. And just what I mean by that is I understand people have the ability to understanding the body language of an animal where he can free handle, but putting that in somebody else's head over and over and over again, mistakes are going to happen. And when that is getting advertised, I mean, I don't know if there's disclaimers on these YouTube videos. I don't know if there's disclaimers on these TikToks. I don't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff, to be honest with you. I just wait for someone to get bit so I can make some memes.
Right.
So yeah, my whole thing is I don't know. I get we can do it. You know, I went to Tom Crutchfield's. I watched him pull the Mengshang Vipers out barehanded. It was very cool to see, but nowhere at any time did I think it was a good idea for me to consider trying it.
Right.
But some people think I can do anything. So it's tough, man. You know, I kind of make the comment after that whole last bite, which was one of probably 20 bites in the last 5 years. You know, venomous keeping's like gun keeping. You get some guys that keep them locked up properly and they're safe about it and responsible. And then you get other assholes on Facebook twirling the thing around so they get shot on the foot. And inevitably something's going to happen when you're doing silly shit. So all the power to you. But someone's going to get hurt someday. And I wonder, what do you think the liability is for these venomous guys that are free handling if a little kid watches that and does it himself?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you get a good lawyer in there, right? So
Tough, man.
Things you got to watch out for. Now, what's going on with you? Are you where you want to be at right now, or is there a 5-year plan to make a Dave Kingdom of Reptiles in 5 years, or are you okay where you are now?
I think there's a responsible number, and I think we all learn it at one point or another in the hobby. I'm working on my responsible number right now. You know, I really enjoy keeping in quantity, but sometimes I kind of question why. You know, you talk about business decisions, and I know people that can make considerably more money than me with a tenth of what I have,
Right.
because it's not as spread out. You're not as spread out. I don't know, man. I'm gonna always be making changes, and I think I'll probably make a lot of changes in the next year, and I'm already in the process of doing it now. But I don't know. I guess the day that I can't pay the bills is the day that I stop trying to be as big as I am, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get to that point. There is a responsible number. A lot of the ball python people kind of go past that number, and then it hits them. You know that like holy shit, I have 300 animals here with a full-time job, and you know I just can't do it anymore. And those are the people that you tend to see that are pulling out of the community. But is Missouri the final destination? Do you like it there?
It's cheap. It's quiet. The only thing I miss is playing hockey. There's no hockey rinks around here. Other than that, man, I mean, the cost of living is just so low here. And, you know, I travel for so many shows. If I need that city experience or something else, I'll take it on the road. But I'll be honest, man, no bills or cheap bills and quiet is pretty wonderful in life.
Yeah, no, I got to admit that. That's the thing. I lived in Colorado for a while, and I definitely missed the vibe. You know, so I'm looking at Tennessee now, as
Okay.
far as the retirement place.
So can I ask you a Colorado question?
Yeah.
So you were talking about all these times we hung out, but I mean, the one time that always really stuck out for me was Daytona Beach. You were telling stories, and I was high as fuck, but you were talking about Clydesdales. You talked about some fancy pool that ran water over a certain way, and you didn't think you could live without it. And then when you had it, you couldn't live without it.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the more memorable nights for being as fucked up as I was.
Yeah, that was the infinity pool in LA.
Okay.
But Colorado was the place where we got 4 of the 6 Clydesdales that we had, or they were draft horses. And I realized that I do not like owning horses. Like it's like the gift that keeps on taking, you know. And it's just, especially, you know, we kept 6 horses when we moved back to LA, and we were paying $1,000 each a month to board them. And that's when I was like, maybe you just have too much money, you know, like where you shouldn't be fucking, you know, trying to tell my parents who still lived in the Bronx, you know, that I was spending $6,000 a month on horses on top of everything else. They were like, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? But you know, I miss it. I miss it a little bit. And I don't miss it that much because I can't touch them. I'm fucking allergic to them. So even if I fucking, I could just be around a horse and my eyes swell up like fucking Rocky at the end of Rocky, you know, and I just don't like that at all. But do you do any monitors right now? I know MJ does a lot of monitors, and I'm just hoping that you do a couple of them too, because I have some questions on that, because I think I'm going to get into that.
You know, to be honest with you, that's one species that I haven't, because I think that's a species that you really have to go all in. You know, it's such an interactive species that I just don't think it's like one thing you have among a lot of things.
Right.
You know, William Morose of RCR up in Canada, you know, or maybe don't know, he's getting into the monitor game, grabbing some of the dwarf monitors, and he loves it. I think he sends me more pictures of that stuff than he does ball pythons now.
Well, I know Corey Martin also went out of ball pythons and is just doing the small to mid-level monitors right now. And I'm good friends with Mike, so I know that, you know, I know where to get them, what to do with them, but I don't really want to get it into them too much until I have more space here, right? And I agree with you. I don't think you should have, you know, 20 other species of reptiles and keep monitors. You know, just from seeing Mike Stefani do it, you could tell that he's, you know, he's strictly, he's doing one or two things and that's it. And he's just maintaining just the monitors. And I think the way he does it is the way to do it. But that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to getting into, whether it's when I move or if I get a bigger place here. But
you going big or small?
I would like to go medium, Kimberly rock monitors maybe. So it all depends. Like I only got one leg, man. Right. So fucking Bionic Benny though does I think he has an Asian water monitor. I think he has. And he does it with one leg. So we'll see. Bionic Benny's also 25 years younger than me, you know. So you know, those are things that I don't want to risk. And I don't want to fucking you know, have the animal and not have the space for an animal. That's the only reason I don't have a dog here, you know, is that I live in a fucking condo in New York. I don't want to fucking buy a big dog that I have to fucking keep on a couch fucking its whole life, you know. So
I got 3 dogs, buddy. 3 dogs, and I never even had dogs in my entire life till I got here.
Oh man, yeah, that's fucking. But you actually have some space by you, right?
Yep, they run all day long. They got nowhere to be. I got a neighbor a half a mile from me and another neighbor a mile from me, and that's all I have where I live.
Right. That's exactly what I want. That's how my Colorado house was. Basically, I always tell people I want to be far enough away from my neighbor where if my girlfriend is killing me, my neighbor won't be able to hear me scream. Okay, and that would be the perfect life for me, you know. Now, what do you do non-reptile related? Like, what do you like enjoy doing that's not reptile related?
Oh man, well, when I'm not breeding, I like to go herping a lot. When I do these fucking road trips, dude, I'll work at a show till 5 o'clock, and I'll run out to a road to cruise all night. And if I'm not doing that, if I'm on the road, I like to get a little buzz, and I like to show up at a bar and run a pool table for a couple hours. Doesn't always work the way I want to, but when I'm just in that right spot, and when I look foolish as fuck in a bar, when I got those cat shirts on, I'm wearing some goofy fanny pack, and I can beat a bunch of big rednecks in a game of pool, it's a real good feeling, man. Real good feeling.
Yeah, I'm very anti-herping. You know, I'm very fucking like fucking the the a school of crap. Well, I was born and raised in New York, moved to LA, did music for years, made some money, got a ranch in Colorado, moved back to LA, then moved back to New York. Yeah, I'm very anti-herping, like fucking just picking the fuck up, picking up an animal that could have been waiting there 2 days to try and catch a fucking piece of food, And yeah, I know. Yeah, that's how most herpers think. They're like, I don't care. I want a picture for the gram,
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, but I've got some nerdy friends that when I send them a picture of a milk snake in Missouri, it's a pretty big flex, buddy. So we all got our thing. I enjoy fishing too. Been fishing since I was like 2 years old, and honestly, the fishing is probably what got me into the reptiles. Just being around water and catching frogs and turtles when I was a kid.
Right.
But no, I'm do that. But I'm a sports guy. I played hockey for about 15 years. I played pickleball for the first time and won after playing 4 games and learning how to do it. So that might be my next thing, and I'm pretty fucking good at cornhole. Yeah, that's about it, man. I guess I don't have a whole lot going on in life. This is kind of depressing.
No, this is actually kind of a good thing that you take enough out of the fucking job to fucking be happy with cornholing. But fucking whatever, it's all
if
good.
You saw my airmails, buddy, you would respect my cornhole.
Oh my god! All right, so how could people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you?
Well, it depends on for the reason. I always tell people hit me up on Facebook if something's going on. My number is 704-681-4629. I expect some text messages now. I'm going to start doing more on social media. I'm a real bitch at the social media thing. And, when you were, off camera, I did a shameless plug for my Friday show, but I really love the podcast space. I'm long-winded. I nerd out on this hobby pretty hard. So Forrest Fanning and MJ asked me to do a podcast probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Never done one, never even watched a podcast, never even watched Joe Rogan. And man, I rolled up to the Walmart a little further up the block because my internet at the house sucked. And I think the 3 of us talked in that podcast for like 3.5 hours solid. And, me and Forrest used to have a lot of long-winded conversations. After Ben passed away, he was kind of my go-to guy to talk to all the time. And yeah, you put us on that podcast. We disagreed with everything. There was not a topic we ever agreed on, but I fucking love debating him. But no, that kind of got me wanting to do that. And like I said, I get to do a Friday show now on the Trap Talk Network. Sometimes I do a Junior from JMG, and honestly, I'm kind of obsessing over it a little bit. And now I just got to figure out how to turn it into more than just a podcast, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like arts and crafts. I always talk about it. I'm a big arts and crafts guy. I'm a hard book to read, but leading up to this podcast, I already knew what I was going to do for you for years. I know your vibe. I know the energy you put off. And if I had $70, I would have done better, but I spent $3 today and I made you some custom boobies.
There we go. There we go.
So, I went back and watched all your thumbnails. I saw what you had, and like I said, I only had like $3-4 when I couldn't pay 60. I hit up MJ and asked him for some of that super chat money to start buying me titties, and he just wouldn't fucking do it. But yeah, no, like I said, it's like being. I guess I don't even know where the fuck you find me. You got my phone number now. I expect some text messages. Well, light on the dicks, guys. Light on the dicks. I know the message I give out, but just one at least. I don't know. I'm out of it. Edit that last dick part out. We don't want to talk about that.
I think it's great that you got a fucking morph market nipples. All right, fucking.
Oh, you want to talk about shipping?
Yeah, let's talk about shipping. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about Morph Market getting into the shipping game?
Well, we talked a little bit about this, and I kind of feel the same way about it when Robin started doing Redline. All I've ever done is Reptiles Express, so it really just hurt them. And to tell you the truth, I'm sure this is going to hurt them more. Yeah. I'm sure everyone's going to feel it, but you got Debbie out there. And you got, again, Reptiles Express. So, I hope little Mike's not listening. I hope Big Mike's not listening, but like, loyalty only goes so far, and they're going to be the first ones to feel it. I wouldn't be surprised if Redline lost a little bit. My opinion is, if the customer service isn't there with Morph Market, there's going to be an issue when things start getting lost and things go wrong, because things do go wrong. If their customer service is at the level of, I always like to say, Debbie, I think it's going to be tough for competitors for a minute. There's going to be loyalty out there, though. But the reality is, and it's not even that we're trying to pinch pennies, but let me tell you how much my loyalty costs. I just ordered 200 shipping boxes. That means if it costs me $20 more to stay with Reptiles Express, I'm going to spend $4,000 for my loyalty. And honestly, I'm so fucking Jewish when I say it out loud. I don't even know how loyal I could be if you knew you could save $4,000. But until I get through these 200 boxes, I don't plan on going anywhere else. And even after that, I may stick it out a little bit longer. But Chad used it after a couple days. And he came on and he said it very simply. It was easy. I was able to forward all the information to my customer on Morph Market without having to copy and paste and go somewhere else. He was able to move his label over from his phone and print it out on the spot. It was a little more convenient. But again, like I said, people are going to pick who they want to work with. And I think customer service is going to be the biggest thing in the end of the day on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that Morph Market doesn't even have a customer service number to call. That's going to be a problem when something goes wrong, so it's definitely going to be an issue. God damn it, will you cover up the boobs, please?
You know what? Well, can I leave one out? Maybe just like one?
That's sexy. That's fun. Yeah, do that. That's
one?
hot.
Yeah, I'll go with one. I'll go with one.
That's hot. That's the thumbnail. Okay.
Oh.
That's the fucking thumbnail. All right. All right. So what's your Instagram handle?
Custom scales. Also, all bobbers, no rod, if you want to see me catch fish.
Very cool. Well,
are you saying goodbye? Is it over because I pulled my titties out?
Yeah. That's the whole reason. All right.
Is that it? I thought you said we're going for hours, buddy. Shit.
No. Talk to me about something that we didn't cover that you want to talk about.
Oh my God, you're making me host your podcast for you?
Yeah, I'm making you host it. Yeah, you're the new guy.
Well, shit. Why don't we talk about a Tinley recap? Have you been talking to people?
I've been talking to a few. I heard it went well for some, not well for others. I heard it was a pretty typical Tinley. But the USR donations hit a record. That's what I do know, about it. I've seen constant posts about that. And you are obviously one of the people that made money, at Tinley, because you did it right? Like, you did all the pre-sales, you did the deliveries, you did like you went and enjoyed Tinley for what it was, right? Yeah. As opposed to having to work Tinley. And I know a couple people that went all the way out from Rhode Island to fucking vend at Tinley, and they made $14. Okay, so it's you know what? Let's talk about that. Bob Show, Tinley, St. Louis, Daytona, Charlotte, Troy, and what's the name of the show?
Hello, brother.
How long do you think it's too many shows right now?
Yes, of course I do. I think there's more shows now than I've ever seen before. I think that there's an advantage and disadvantage with that. I do think there's people covering certain cities that needed to be covered and have proven to be good. But also, when you define good, if you put a very big show in a very small area, it's probably going to fail when the money is too spread out at a show. So I love Charlotte. I love Atlanta. Big cities, a lot of money. Daytona, established product. NARBC, established product. People are always going to know to go there to spend money to see something they might not see somewhere else. I don't know, man. I mean, you guys had White Plains 3 times a year, and now it's 7 times a year. I thought that was outrageous, man. Same thing with Hamburg, and I understand why they did it. But that also spread the money out. The same amount of money you would normally make over 3 shows, it literally took you 6 or 7 shows to make that in the calendar year doing those shows, because there was no urgency to buy anymore when you knew you were going to see the guy in a month.
Right.
So I do think there's an art form to doing this. I've been to a lot of shows. I mean, I've been a show whore forever. I used to do 30 shows a year. I think I had a year I did 40 shows plus. I talked to, I used to work with Limey at the shows. That might have been one of the times I met you at Hamburg if I wasn't with Tim Kuppenhofer. So like, I've gone to a lot of shows and I've seen what worked that I didn't think was going to work. And then I also seen a bunch of things that did work, but I think little signs on the corner are stupid. Those plastic signs, but goddamn are they effective, man. And you think I'm joking right now? Those little fucking cheap signs get people through the door. I don't know, man. I mean, you know what your region did when you had too many shows. I love the idea of Charlotte having a good show. I think the tough thing about that time of the year this year was, when you look at the Southeast as a whole, money was going to Daytona, and Daytona was around the 18th?
Right.
And then if you lived in the Southeast, that's where you were going. And now you have this Atlanta show, and Atlanta show was hyped. It was big. Great breeders there. Everything looked great. But a lot of people spent money a couple weeks prior to that in the Southeast. So you were getting more of a local draw and then some passionate guys that are big fans of Bob. And same thing with the Charlotte show. I thought Charlotte has potential to be amazing because I lived there for years. And the only show you have right now is a Repticon in Concord. And a good central location in Charlotte, and again, where you can advertise to the plant people too to bring a different demographic in. It's a lot of money in Charlotte if you know where to pull the people from. I heard the venue was nice enough. I heard that the location wasn't too bad, and you're also very limited to what locations you could be at because people have wanted a Charlotte show for years, and they've not had a lot of luck finding a good venue. So, like I said, I could talk for hours on why certain shows may work and certain shows don't. But if I'm going to try a new show, for me personally, I don't do it in the summertime because the summertime's a low attendance weekend anyways, and it's hard to judge a show based on a summer show. And I sometimes make more money at the smaller shows. Reptilian Nation, in my opinion, for a while there was getting more people through the door than any other show in the nation. I heard numbers upwards of 17,000 people at Salt Lake City. And Salt Lake City only had one show in that town for the previous 20 years, right. And it's still going on today. But like that kind of draw in that area was unbelievable. Same thing with some of the Texas shows. So I don't know, man. You need those small shows for the little guy, though. Not everyone's getting in the big ones. Not everyone's got that dick to swing. We could cut back a little bit. Everybody knows we can cut back a little bit. And I don't know who's going to win here. I think whoever runs out of money first is going to fail. I guess that's the way of putting it.
Right, right. Well, I was just in Canada last month, and they had a dog show. It was a dog show, reptile show, plant show, and aquatic show and cat show. Okay, and I think they had 27,000 people through the door. Okay, but the key was that they half of the people that went in had to walk through the reptile exhibits just to get to the dog or cat or fish exhibit. All right. And they only have one show a year there. Okay. And that's that was really like the way to go because people, at least the people that I've talked to, were selling 17, 20, 25 snakes, just off that one show. And, if you make $10,000 a show, that's a good weekend, even if you do it once a year, right? Yeah. And now in the States, at least, there's a national level show every month, at least. Yep. Now with everybody doing them, because Bob's show did great. I thought that Bob's show was like a tutorial on how to put on a show. That guy really, from what I understand, I didn't go to vendor there, and people did great there. At Troy's show, they really didn't do as good as they thought, they would do. But I am curious to see a Troy show in Nashville because I would definitely go to that show. So
the best show in Nashville for the last 20 years was the All Pet Expo. And the reason it was the best show is they only charged $1 at the door for people to come in. That show would draw about 10,000 people. I believe post-COVID, they charged $2 at the door and still drew 10,000 people and double the size of the show. But that show might be gone now. And yes, there could be room for somebody to come in and put it on a big Nashville. I'd just be curious if these people are willing to pay $15 a ticket. And if not, how many people are we getting through the door?
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but it's really like an untested market, no matter how you put it, because this would be the first show in Nashville put on specifically by breeders, right?
Other than Repticon being there for years off and on in the fairgrounds, for like a legit something a little bigger, something a little classier, yes, you are right. And I love Nashville, buddy. Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the food's amazing there. The culture's amazing there. I dig everything about Nashville. Honestly, when I was thinking about where to live, I was looking all over Tennessee. I just couldn't find a place with a building big enough on a property.
Right.
But no, I'll be putting you on some good food when you get down there because, like I said, I dig Nashville, especially for the food environment.
Well, I definitely plan on spending a lot of time in Nashville. I'm looking more East Tennessee, like in Knoxville. I want to be by the mountains, and that's where I'd like to go. But still, to have Nashville 2 hours away from me, the only time that I've been in Nashville, in the last 20 years was a couple of times with the music stuff. So it's going to be nice to go. But like I would fly out even in a wheelchair to Nashville. Whereas I'm not sure I would fly out, in the wheelchair to South Carolina or Denver or anything like that. But Nashville, I would definitely do that. So I'm curious on where they're going to go, and how much of this do you think is affecting the locally run shows? Because I mean, Herbst has a show damn near every weekend of the year in Texas, Oklahoma, or Louisiana. Show Me has a shit ton of. I mean, sometimes Show Me has 3 or 4 shows the same weekend in different states. Yeah. So where do you think the show circuit is heading? And it's just a matter of time, but before Morph Market gets into the show shit. So there's going to be other ones added.
So you're not wrong, but I believe if I was Morph Market, I would probably be looking for one of these already established brands to buy out if they're looking to get out. Some of these people have maybe been doing it for a little while. Maybe it's getting close to their time where they just want to move on to bigger, better things in their eyes, maybe retire from the game. I wouldn't see them starting a series over. I could see them maybe trying to find one when it's available. But that's me. That's my opinion. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking at the time, but me personally, just the way things have been going, I could see them just kind of jumping into one that's already ripping.
Are you more of a Morph Market guy or more of a show guy?
I was a show guy, very, very heavy, and the shows did me very good. Recently, I've been very heavy on Morph Market, to the point where I've actually started looking at shows to cancel in the fall, where usually this is about time of the year I get kicking hard. Your comments before about how to run a business properly is sometimes looking in the mirror. I'm a great salesman. I can't be on the road all the time and be a successful breeder. And I will say that I believe my last 2 seasons, because of me having to hustle on the road to make ends meet, because I wasn't utilizing things I could do online, I had bad breeding years. I missed ovulations. I had slug outs. If I was home, I'm just convinced it wouldn't have happened. So I'm going to try to be a little better at breeding this year, because the animals just aren't going to breed themselves.
Right. Now, do you think that you're at that point where you really don't have to advertise, where your name carries enough weight, where you're going to sell things regardless if you do the shows or you do Morph Market, let's say? Like some tells me that you could sell off Instagram.
I could utilize Instagram and I could utilize a lot of other things better. I will say that when I talk to my friends that post on Instagram, they get a lot of overseas buyers contacting them. I believe more on Instagram than Facebook. Here's the thing. I'm a brand, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm a known brand. people might know me for a couple weird things. People know me about the 4th of July videos that I take a lot of pride in, by the way. Love the fuck out of them. But like, you know, a lot of times people come to me looking for a high-end animal I just don't fucking have because they think that flex is going on over here. And it's not that it's not completely, but like I said, a couple bad breeding seasons and where I had some stuff to show for it, I probably did my worst over the last 2 years than I did the prior 5 years, to be straight with you. So yeah, I'm trying to be responsible and make better animals, and staying home will make me make better animals.
Right. Well, let's say you were getting into it now in 2024. Give advice to a young kid getting into it.
Well, if you decide to get in the ball pythons and change your mind in 5-6 years, don't worry about it. You're not the first. But I will say that the training wheels of the industry are the ball python outside of some of the ractodactyla stuff. The reality is you could come in and make a absolutely stunning animal with ball pythons and possibly get a very fair price for it. And that money, you know, William's a good example of this. You know, we were chatting one time and, you know, he likes to dog on ball pythons a lot. Just so you know, his HBO Go password has ball pythons in it. He loves them so fucking much. But he was dogging on him, and then I was like, what paid for all these, or like all these rare pythons and all this like nice caging? He's like, oh, my ball pythons paid for all of this. Like, so I think still to this day it's safe to invest in ball pythons. I just think that people need to understand that the market is moving faster than it's ever had before. You know, you mentioned Charlie earlier with shed testing. The advantage that gives the underdog in the hobby is unbelievable. You know, you could go from the guy who used to have to go out and spend $40,000 to $60,000 on a triple recessive male to the guy that goes out and buys a triple or quad het that is a garbage animal to most breeders, a throwaway animal, sell to a pet store. And I could be breeding that to anything in my collection, sending my test to Charlie. And suddenly I've got hets, double hets, triple hets, and quad hets. And I nickeled and dimed my way into that. And suddenly I'm hanging a little bit.
Right.
At least building that like base that you need. You know, the hobby is going hard recessive. We know it. And the reality is, you remember the hobby 15 years ago. Even back then, everybody talked about how recessive was the safe investment. This might be my first sheriff, by the way. So definitely my first sheriff of the day. So it was. So I'm trying to. Okay, so I like to go DG hypo is like my base for colors for recessive, and I like to add a pattern after that. Usually my pattern would be something along the lines of like puzzle, clown, tri-stripe. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
You're gonna sound kind of silly just doing a podcast. Wi-Fi at the house. Oh yeah. Well, you know, I like to dress up. But no, just doing a little reptile podcast. I warned them before we started that somebody might stop by. So you posted, or the other guy posted up about a block down.
Okay, yeah, next door code, just kind of
Tech shop.
okay, the tech shop.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd actually be wrapping this up in 30. Would it be inappropriate to stay to the end? Well, I appreciate you, sir.
You look good, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So, tri-stripe too. You know, tri-stripe's another pattern in recessives that has really not been utilized. And you can be a new guy who comes in the hobby today and honestly make something no one's ever done before. And I think that's one thing that discourages the new guy coming in, is they think everything's been done if you're going to chase a clown collection. But, you know, a lot of people invested in Monsoon over the last 3 years for some of the new money. And I do believe that, one, because it was very crazy looking compared to anything else, but also there was a thought that I can still do something before somebody else can. But
can I just say, all right,
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say something, that you literally just had the cops come and check you out and started just talking about the same shit you were talking about before the cops got there. Okay, what did they say to you? What went on? I didn't hear all that.
The porn shop next door called, said there was some guy in the parking lot over here. You know, I'm sure it's a flashlight in the back. So he had to come check it out. But I think this coat kind of helped me out there a little bit.
Yeah,
We love America out here in the country.
that's right. I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that Will Morose actually said it best, where he said basically what shed testing did was just put every recessive behind a $50 paywall, right?
Oh, that negative fuck.
Yes.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
here's the thing. And it wasn't so much a flex. It was more about the pinky ring. But I sent you the picture of Chad at the show,
Right.
standing next to his puzzle pastel DG that he had sold that weekend. And honestly, in my opinion, one of the most standout animals at the show because it was at like 450 grams, and we all know DG is perfect at 450.
Yep.
That animal probably got a lot more attention than most, and it went home with somebody that, honestly, based on the other animals that they told us he bought, he's in the game now, and he's in the game now heavy. And here's the thing, some people had a good show, some people had a bad show that weekend. I spoke with a blood python guy, said it was the best weekend of the year. I think it was his best Tinley ever. I talked to a lot of other people that had a great weekend, and then I talked to a guy who sells racks and cages, and he said for the first Tinley ever, he didn't sell a single rack or cage. And I'm not talking about Chris. Chris always sells racks and cages.
Yep.
But, it just, every show is going to be a little different. I do feel that sometimes people that don't make money always don't make money, and they're the guys that always say, fuck, I didn't make shit. But, Chad made an animal from double het breeding that he had whatever he had into it, and he stood strong on what he thought it was worth and what the fair price was, and he found somebody who's willing to pay it. And I think that says a lot about the industry. I think the money is a little more scared now, and I think we need to be wowed a little bit more. But like I said, that in my opinion was one of the more wow animals in the whole building that weekend if you were looking at ball pythons.
Well, I think that the issue with the ball python hobby right now is there's more people than ever putting out great looking animals.
Yep.
I mean, they're great looking animals that don't necessarily cost a ton of money to get into, but they're still, they look better than they have in years, and there's so many people doing it. I think the way the hobby is going to play out is eventually there's going to be a price differential of between 2,500 and $3,000 per nice animal, and I think it's going to be very hard to hit the $20,000 and $30,000 animal anymore. Like what Will was talking about, prior to you coming on, was how hard it is just to hit a double visual, right? And it's still hard, but I have a friend that did triple het to triple het and got a triple visual out of it.
Yep.
And he has a $35,000 animal now, and it immediately raised his stock as far as people viewing him. I'm sure you get an animal like that, you'll have no problem selling any of the shit that's been sitting on Morph Market for a year prior to that.
So Chad did the same way with the Soul Puzzle Project. Double het to double het first time around, he made a male. He had big offers on that male during COVID. I mean, fucking numbers that I told him he was silly for saying no to. Held back that animal, bred it to a double het this year, made 2 more visuals, both females, has sold one, and then also bred it to all his visual puzzles or het puzzle stuff, and made a ton of visual puzzles het DG. Right. And you watch the market, like you can make the nicest clown now, and people will say, is there hypo or DG in it yet? Like, right. So like expectations are higher. And I think one thing that we're going to see in the market that I talk about a little bit is, we got to take this pet market serious, and there's no more spinner blast out there. There's no more calico whatevers. There's hardly any mystic potions. There's hardly any leucistics. What's the new pet? There's always going to be people looking for pets. Is it going to be your 5-gene clown in 2 years if it doesn't set a high enough bar for itself? Because the reality is there's a lot of codoms that have 5 or 6 genes in them now that go for $150 or $200.
Right.
Because recessive's harder to make, it doesn't mean shit when your entire collection's already recessive. It's not harder to make at that point. So I think there'll be a correction on some things that are probably going to be known as more pet industry animals. And there will still be the high-end separation, but Here's the thing. I mean, I think people need to be wild right now. And I don't necessarily know what that means or what to go in. I will say that the puzzles finally are really, really taking charge in the industry. I saw a lot more on the table. You could get a lot more ideas on what direction you want to go on based on what we saw this weekend. And paint's another one, man.
Yeah,
You talked to
that's
Limey enough. Grant and Mary Rec Room, they put out that fire paint clown last week and the cinnamon paint clown. I spoke to a lot of people at Tinley about it, and they were digging that animal. And fuck, that's something we could have done 20 years ago. So I don't really think the market's not ever going to be here because I genuinely believe there's always going to be new people buying the dream. And I will also say, and it might be rude, but people failing at their dream is the reason why people stay in business because otherwise there'd be too many breeders.
right.
So, bad advice, probably not going to get very far in the hobby. But I will say that the rise of Patreons in the hobby, I generally think that's one of the best things that's ever happened for the new guy that came in investing high at the right time because it did give you a little more personal one-on-one time with the buyers and, again, people around you. As you know, creates like a community. And it's hard to fail when you got a good community of guys around you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also you touched on, I want to go back and to the Patreon thing in a minute, but you touched on the pet level thing where there are going to be always those $100 to $400 people that are just getting the snake for a pet now. And I think a lot of money was left on the table for years where they weren't, going into the pet thing. And I think that Bob really created that. Like I walked over to Bob's table at the last Arlington, and Bob had everything from $200 animals to $10,000 animals on his table.
Yep.
And I thought, man, this is gonna really hurt the low end people that are just breeding the low end stuff because now the bigger guys are realizing that money's being left on the table with the pet people also, because the pet people and the breeder people have always been at odds, for some reason when they didn't have to be,
Yeah, I mean, people do form their little groups and their factions, and people sometimes look at success and get jealous. I get jealous. But yeah, like I said, when it comes to the pet stuff, I mean, I think we all, in a way, even the high-end breeder guy is still making pets, whether you like it or not. You're still getting byproduct from these high-end ideas that we have. One thing I always talk about, and it's kind of going a different way, but I want to get it in, is, I always hear people talk about how the hobby's like a pyramid scheme. And the reality is everything's a pyramid scheme. But what people don't understand about this hobby is I hear about how the mid-range and low-end stuff, we'll say 1,000 to 2,500 range, or we'll even say 2,500 to 5,000 range is not selling like it had been. So one thing that people don't realize is when Joe Schmo does a Repticon who's got a day job and makes $2,000 that weekend, he's going to go to Babu's table. He's going to go to another big breeder's table, and he's going to reinvest his $2,000 in a $2,000 animal. But when that lower end guy is not selling those pets anymore, that money's not working its way up anymore. And a lot of that money comes from lower breeders wanting to be bigger, wanting to follow the dream and have animals they didn't think they could have. And there's nothing wrong with that. I inched my way up in this hobby. It took over a decade of just like grinding to even get anywhere because I never had any money to do it. Just worked because I wouldn't stop working at it. So honestly, we need pets. And people don't understand that. And the pets actually boost up the middle of the industry for investments because, again, it allows the lower end breeder to work his way up a little bit. And there's always a new lower end breeder. So that's one thing you can always bank on.
Well, that's what I said. I think that it's I like how the shift in the mentality has changed over the last couple of years to I'm going to be the next Justin, to where I'm going to make an extra $30,000 or $40,000 a year doing something that I love doing. That's more attainable than saying that you're going to be the new Justin. Okay. Because if you make 40 grand a year and then you make an extra 40 grand a year selling snakes, your whole income level changes, your whole lifestyle changes,
One thing I don't know if it was a podcast I did with Justin or maybe I heard it from another one that he did, but the day that he realized he was going to go from having a day job and running a reptile business was the day when the reptile business was making more than his day job. And
Right.
at that point, he made the transition into going full-time reptile guy. And I like that. That's just the way some of us are going to do it. Most of us, honestly, if you're a grown-ass man jumping in the hobby now, you probably got a day job.
Yeah. Well, you would think, right? But okay. All right. Oh, all right, Dave. Well, it's 11. We're gonna fucking call it quits because I'm old. Okay. And you know, I got a day job to go to in the morning. So it's
That's
what I
fair.
do. Right. Right. Dude, seriously, thank you so much for hanging out, man. I appreciate you I appreciate you fucking doing the interview from the back of a pickup truck outside an abandoned old fucking bowling alley. And I appreciate you fucking carrying on the interview through the cop situation. That was fucking great. So listen, everybody, go follow Dave wherever you are. You
Come
don't
see
have
me
your own
on
YouTube,
Fridays,
right?
buddy. Fridays on the Trap Talk Network.
Yeah.
Talking snakes, trying to be Chris. My setup does not look as good as yours. It's a bowling alley and a fucking flashlight, buddy. But someday, man, someday.
Well, the only thing I'm saying is that, yeah, mine looks good when the fucking internet works, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, 6 of 1, right? And it's also the first time I'm going to allow another fucking YouTube advertised on fucking on my show. Fucking, it's all right
It's
though.
called synergy, buddy. We're gonna synergize. I make zero money doing this. I'm making titties $3, buddy. I got nothing going for me. I'm not your competition.
Yeah, you lost money coming on this show. So
But that's all
fucking
right. That's all right.
no. The
Hey,
thing
I
is,
didn't get arrested, buddy.
rising tide lifts all boats, right? So,
Yep.
But Dave, seriously, thank you. Hang out backstage for fucking 2 minutes. I'm gonna just close out the show and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Go follow Dave Levinson. All bobbers, no reel.
All
No rod.
bobbers, no rod, buddy. I like
No
float
rod.
rig.
Okay, all right. Give out your phone number again.
704-681-4629.
God, dick pics are on the way, my friend. All right. I'll talk
Keep
to you
them
in a
solid,
minute.
buddy.
Right?
Keep them solid.
All right. Oh, all right. Fucking Dave Levinson. How great was that? Fucking sorry about the internet connection, guys. I don't know what the problem is. I pay for the best internet in this fucking area. And I checked the speed and it was like fucking 20 meg upload, 8 meg 20 meg download, 8 meg upload. So I'm sorry about that. But what I want to say is let's really just go over Stewart Design real quick. Stewart Design, they're a little expensive, but they're the way to go. They're going to help you out with all your marketing needs, logo design. It's more than just throwing together something from AI and saying that it's your logo. Okay, Stewart Design actually does things that actually work. And listen, you want to use them. They're a little expensive, sure, but fucking that's the best stuff is always a little bit more expensive. Go check them out at SDBrands.com and SD Brands on Instagram. Also, Sea Serpents. You already know, all right? You fucking know. Fucking some people don't want a giant metal rack in their fucking living room that's a 2 refrigerator footprint, okay? Sea Serpents makes racks that look like furniture. They'll look good in your living room. Plus, he's been doing it forever. Chris was at that Hamburg show where fucking me and Dave met dropping off stuff. So Chris is the way to go if you want PVC racks. Definitely go to Chris. So all right, guys. Well, that's really it. That was my big Dave Levinson show. 15 Minutes of Lame contest this year starts on November 16th. November 15th is the last show of the year. Campaigning starts on November 16th, and let's see who's going to get the belt this year. Listen, everybody, join the Patreon if you want some exclusive stuff, some backstage stuff. Join the Discord at least. I mean, that one's free. It's always fun on the old Discord. We get into a lot of good conversations about everything there, about movies, about TV shows, about comedy shows, about life, about Bigfoot. All right, about fucking Bigfoot. So join the Patreon, even if you do it for free. You get access to the Discord. If you get on any of the paid membership plans, you have a bunch of exclusive stuff, and we're actually doing celebrity non-Zoom Zoom calls over the next couple of months, where we're going to have people like Justin, Ozzy, Bob, Will Banks, Robin from Redline. We're going to have people where you won't have to join their Patreon, at an expensive rate. You'll get some fucking, FaceTime with them on my Patreon, which is a fuck of a lot cheaper. Okay. So I would say definitely look forward to that. And that's really it. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm getting a little tired now. I'm old. I'm fucking, failed ball python breeder. I'm irrelevant. But I do need some fucking sleep. So that's all I'm going to say to you guys. All right. I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Our next guest is going to be Patrick McKnight on the day that he launches his new company called Aura. Him and Chimera had a breaking of ways, and Patrick is starting a new company called Aura that we're going to talk about on the actual launch date. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Actually, I'll see you this weekend. We got a Hot Girl show on Sunday. My one black friend will be back the following week. And we have 2 more Hot Girl shows left till the end of the year. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Thank you, Dave and William. Thanks, Shauna, in the background. It was Shauna's birthday last week, so everybody say happy birthday to Shauna on Instagram. So, all right, guys, take it easy. Bye-bye.